Yeah, Jim, if it itches and it smells really bad, you should really see a doctor about that.
Look,
Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Brian and Jim here, Drink Beer and Play a Game, and welcome to another bonus beer episode with our good buddy, Nerdy Nick.
What's going on, everyone?
Hi, Jim.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to bonus episode number 3. Very happy to be here.
Right,
don't tell the people. Don't tell the people how I can't come unless it burns.
Oh, God damn it. Son of a bitch. How you fellas doing tonight?
Better than Jim.
Isn't that always? No, what do you call it? I'm doing all right. I just moved a fuckload of heavy furniture, so that was fun. I'm in a great position right now. So. The wife with her wonderful ideas for things, but can't do anything. How's it going?
I'm jealous, man. I had to skip the gym for this.
Hey, man. It's all right. It's all right. You can make it.
I'm gonna be the new swole boy on this show after all this fucking house shit.
Jim, I would pay to see you get put on steroids and become like jacked. Yeah.
There was an old Garfield comic where he transferred all of his fat into his upper body and he just became basically Hulk sized and shit like that.
Oh, jeez.
I was just like, if only I could do that. If only I could flex fat.
What you guys got in your glasses tonight?
Jim? Oh, okay. Well, I was just pre-gaming a little bit here with a Miller Lite. Nothing fancy. But my first craft brew, if you will, is from Sierra Nevada. And it is very themed with our movie of choice tonight. We've got the Powder Day IPA.
Oh, look at you!
Nice.
Look at you being all tying in with your beer.
Oh yeah, it's a double dry hopped IPA from Sierra Nevada. Comes in at 7.7%, and I don't know. It doesn't have anything else. What was that? The color rating that we were
SRM.
Yeah, this doesn't have that or anything.
As well, it shouldn't.
Yeah, that's kind of just doesn't really matter.
That's more beer make-uppery. That's all it is.
Yeah, and I was actually really surprised to be able to find a winter IPA still around.
I was gonna say, was it on I don't know if beer stores out there are the same. We have a lot of them where they'll have clearance or leftover from fall and winter, so that you might get a little bit of a better price for it.
Right. Yeah, I just went to Total Wine and built my own 6-pack, like what I do for these episodes, to try to get something that you guys might not have over there.
I like it.
Yeah, so this was there, and I was kind of pleasantly surprised because all the summer beers are out. And I was like, well, that's not really going to go with anything that we're going to be talking about tonight, so.
Nice. Yeah, similar to you. It's funny. I started pre-gaming with a Bud. Because I was like, well, I need something light before we get on.
Right. How old is that Budweiser? It seems like you always have a random Bud in the back of your beer fridge. This actually is the last Bud in my fridge. So after this, there is no more. The only other macro beer I have would be Corona Light. And I think that's shit you brought over. I don't even know how long ago. It's been a long time. When was the last time I brought over Corona? Jesus.
It was long. Yeah, wow. Just family. But I am moving on after that to the O'Hara's Irish Stout. It's a nitro stout. I would just say this is a very easy comparison to a Guinness. I can't say it's much worse than Guinness. It's really, really damn good. And I'd never heard of it before this year. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it, but even the can design is really cool. It's another black can, got gold and white trim. So another just Irish stout that's really well made. And then I'm going to move on to the Empire Brewing Company's Black Magic Irish Coffee Stout Whiskey Barrel Blended, coming in at
say that 10 times fast.
Yeah, this is 7%. So I imagine it'll be a little bit of a heftier boy with a lot more flavors than the other stout I'm having. And I forgot to mention the O'Hara's it's only 4.3%. So it goes down super smooth, which a lot of these Irish stouts do. So yeah. What you got, Jim?
Well, I am rehydrating after my night of heavy lifting with some good old Coors Lights, and I do have some kind of fucking. I have something other in my fridge. I'll get to.
It's been 3 weeks of Coors Lights with you, Jim. Right, you're embarrassing us in front of guests. Come on, you gotta up your beer game.
I just have so many. But no, I do have some crafty stuff that I'll break into once we get into the main event. So
nice.
Right on.
Nice. So once again, we want to say thank you again to everyone who does support us, who is viewing this. We appreciate it. This is our exclusive little thank you, and it's also a great excuse for us to get together with Nick and do some drinking. With that being said, I know you did submit a few questions. So, Jim, what do we got this week?
Patreon.com/DrinkABeerandPlayAGame, where for as little as $5 a month, you can ask a question we will answer on each and every single one of these bonus episodes. So, first up from JD Maines. I've been enjoying a lot of Green Bench Brewing's beers. The Postcard Pils is currently my favorite drinking beer. What are y'all favorite 3 Pilsners? So, big breweries included, so Keystone is allowed, Jim. Thank God.
Well, that's not a Pilsner.
I think it is more of a lager. Yeah,
it's a light lager. But I think if he just means light lager, then we'll count it. We'll say macro beers included for, actually for this question. Why don't we just frame it? What's our 3 favorite macro beers? Like of the light lager category, what's your go-to? I mean, obviously each of us right now is drinking one. Jim, you have a Coors, I have a Bud. Nick has the Miller Lite. So what's your 3 go-tos?
With the powers combined.
Yeah.
I'll start. What do you call it? Obviously, my lovely Keystone. When I don't have that, the good old-fashioned Coors Lights. And you know what, dude? I've been drinking a fuckload of Lion's Head lately. Mm-hmm. So I might say that's got to be a contender. It's either going to be that or Yingling Flights, but I might go with Lion's Head just for this one.
Okay. What about you, Nick?
And then for a little more crafty one, I do like the Prima Pills.
Yeah, so, that's probably the best pills in PA. So
yeah,
that would be the easy craft answer.
Yeah, for me, it is just straight up Miller Lite. It's just my go-to light, kind of just crap beer.
Mm-hmm.
That or would you consider Sam Adams just a Boston lager?
Yeah, that would be a craft. I mean, it's not a light beer, it's a Vienna lager, but it's in that macro category. Yeah. So I would throw it in there. Yeah.
Yeah. And for a third one, I would probably just say Coors Banquet.
Nice. Yeah. So it's funny.
Wow, Banquet, classic.
Cobra Kai got me on it, man.
I bet Cobra Kai sold more Banquet Coors than fucking any boomer has bought in the last goddamn 30 years.
Yeah, for real.
I forget, Jim. Did you? I mean, you've obviously always lived a cheap beer life, but did you like PBRs?
Never liked PBRs. Every time long story short, I get bloody shits every time I drink them. So
that's you with everything.
No, no, it is not. No. Since I cleaned up my act a bit and didn't drink every single goddamn night, it went away. But then, no matter what, like clockwork, anytime I eat Sonic or anytime I have PBR, I always wind up with bloody shits. So I stay away from them as much as possible. Oof. And if I did them combined, I'd probably be in a hospital.
So yeah.
But then again, I do other so the really cheapo beers, like the Narragansetts of the world and shit like that. That's fine. That's the $2 beer that I always get when I play shows and shit. But for whatever reason, PBR, man, wrecks me.
You know what? I would also throw in Rolling Rock. I love me a Rolling Rock.
I do love Rolling Rock. Good old pale ale.
Yeah. So I'm going Rolling Rock. Because I am counting that as since we're talking macros here.
Yeah.
Lion's Head has to be there for me. But of the big 3, I actually gotta kind of go back to Jim. Do you remember when we did our beer testing, our blind beer tasting?
Yeah.
And
you going Bud Light? You son of a bitch?
I think I have to because
really,
that was our favorite. That was our blind taste test. That's not the bullshit that.
The big 3, that was the winner.
Yeah, and we both picked it. So it was weird because we thought differently. And then
going into it, we both thought we liked it the least. Yeah.
Yeah. And blind taste test, I was like, I guess I have to go with that. So, those will have to be my 3 macros. I think
the Coors must have been skunked.
Jim, Coors. Come on. Sitting side by side with something else. Even Keystone. I know you would never. I think you may have the palate now to know, which one's the most watery, so I like it the most. But I think if you were being honest, you'd know that stack next to the other macro beers, it don't hold up. And Jim, come on.
I hate this lying and implying bullshit that's going on right now. I disavow.
Jim, if you were Pinocchio, you'd wish your dick was the size of your nose.
Right, I already do. I don't need to be Pinocchio to wish that.
But wait, okay, so wait. Now, I do want to, as a tangent, what is your least favorite macro beer? Because I know my answer is probably pretty obviously Heineken because of how goddamn skunked it is. Every time I have one, I feel like it's fucking skunked.
See, I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks that.
Mm-hmm.
I've had Heineken once and was like, nope, not for me. Never having it again.
I thought that was the fancy beer when I was a kid. Like I thought that was like the rich beer, and
right.
Then I had it. I was like, well, is this what good beer tastes like? Because I don't like it then.
And you never see Heineken commercials unless it's that Benicio del Toro one for Christmas, where he gives himself a six-pack.
yeah, exactly. Well, but Jim and I did, of all the beers we've ever reviewed, Yingling Light Beer was the worst, but, one that you actually commonly try. What about you, Jim? What's your least favorite?
Bud Light Platinum.
I don't know if was that the 8% one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I brought that down to Irish Weekend the one time.
Yeah.
And we all tried it. We're all like, man, this tastes like dog shit. And then
it's like the dark blue can.
Yeah, the double blue can. And I've tried it like maybe twice after that, and every time I'm just like, man, this is fucking terrible.
No good.
Yeah.
What about? Oh no, I guess Molson Triple X would not be considered.
I like Molson Triple X.
No. I'm saying I was thinking of. Could that have been my favorite? Because remember, that was our go-to party beer for a while.
That was the bachelor party beer. Every bachelor party, we always got the case of Molson Triple X's or ices, and made those hotel rooms smell like utter death.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially the casino hotel rooms that are suicide-proof, so you can't open the windows. Oh boy!
For Jim's safety.
Those poor cleaning ladies.
No, JD, that's a great question though, and as Jim and I have said time and time again, you need to have those kind of beers as your back, because you can't just drink fancy shit all the time. You can't just drink craft all the time. Sometimes, especially like if you
go broke.
Yeah, or if you mow the lawn, you're outside doing work. Like you don't need a heavy IPA. Like you should just go to a light beer. So. Yeah.
And next up and last up, and this is actually great because we're all wrestling fans here or former wrestling fans. So from Phony, Montana, fuck, marry, kill. Trish Stratus, Stacy Keibler, and Lita. He would fuck Trish, marry sweet Stacy, and kill Lita because, like Snoop said, you can't make a hoe a housewife.
All right, Lita, Trish, or Stacy. Wow. Fuck. He could.
Can I go first? Can I go first?
Go ahead, Jim.
All right. So,
let's hear the wrong answer. Go ahead.
Marry, I'm going Trish because ever since he has a kid, I'm just like, she's just God tier in every way to me.
Mm-hmm.
The fuck, it's got to be Lita because she's the crazy one. She would be fun, and then unfortunately, I have to kill Stacy. Not that it's a kill that I want to do, but
do you have your answers, Nick?
Yeah, hold on. Why would you kill her? You didn't explain that.
She's boring. There was nothing to like. There is at least like Trish had a personality and tits along with the ass. Stacey was just a butt. Now a god tier butt. Don't get me wrong, but just a butt with no personality. Easily the best butt of the group. I'll give you that. But there's nothing else there but the butt.
Okay.
Interesting. So
look, fucking Lita led to one of the best storylines from the Ruthless Aggression era.
Jim,
that pussy ruined lives, Brian. It ruined lives.
We've already said you were going to have the wrong answer. You
How
proved
dare you?
it. So
no, I am right.
I will agree. I'd marry Trish because, like Jim said, I think she's the most well-rounded. Take that how you want. As the repeated fucks, if you will. The single fuck is going to Stacy. And the kill goes to Lita, but to go opposite of what Jim said, one, you're probably catching something from Lita.
That's part of the fun.
I think Stacy's probably. I think Stacy would be actually I think Lita plays that crazy girl, and she's the type that would just want to lay there on her back or be the most boring. Whereas Stacy, I think, would be way more wild. That ass, those legs, it would just be nuts. Whereas, Lita. Yeah, she's hot, but she's like not she's too typical. And I feel bad even the fact that like Stacy is just a one-timer. But man, I feel like the bragging rights would be so much higher if you said to anyone, I bang Stacy or I bang Lita. Stacy will always get more like, damn. Lita's like, well, who hasn't? Like
you just want to smell George Clooney's dick residue on her. That's all you want.
She was with George Clooney?
Yeah. Famously.
Well, it wasn't so famous I knew about it, so it can't be that big.
Which thing are we talking about here?
Whereas Lita has been with probably everyone's ran through her, and I don't need that residue on me.
Fun experience. Like you can take a shower after, it's fine.
So yeah. So what you got, Nick?
All right. So I gotta say, first of all, Brian and I feel we think like the
Here
same
it comes.
with like fucking everything. But
Because Jim's always wrong. and everyone who ever comes on the show or watches it knows Jim is always wrong.
he's not wrong, he's just different.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do I do this to myself?
Anyways, so I'm gonna because having God tier all day, every day, if you marry that, it's like
Exhausting.
yeah. And she seems a little high maintenance.
All three of these don't seem high maintenance.
Well, Lita don't. I'm gonna kill Lita, and I'm gonna marry Keebler.
Nice.
Just because like Keebler to me seems like that perfect. How do you, like just not total diva, but not completely boring, and she has that preacher's daughter look to her that just kind of is like there's something fun. There's something. That.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, that's why I said like. I still, the Trish everyday thing. Like I said, I can't ever turn off of the as the kid growing up. Her and Sable were like neck and neck for like, oh my god, like what's going on down there?
Yeah.
Whereas like
what do you see, boy? What's going on?
Yeah. What is this?
Mommy, it's sticky.
Damn it. But yeah, I think Nick, we got the right thing.
Yeah,
Lita's the obvious kill. Even Phony, who put it in
there. So he had the same answer as you fucks.
Because Jim, I can't tell. Like I said, I can't tell if in your brain you just have to go the opposite of what's the right answer. But it's interesting. I mean, here's the deal. I would love to know the person out there that would say I'd marry Lita. I want to meet that crazy fuck because then no one. Then that's my point. Then there's somebody that's way off the rocker. Yeah. Mm-mm.
I mean, she's probably a nice lady. I don't know.
I don't know. Every time she's on TV, she's drunk at this point. So I don't know. Like I said, she's got problems like I do.
Now wait, I do have a question because I've been out of wrestling so much. I thought, did Trish recently wrestle or is she wrestling?
She'll show up at either I think she did the Women's
Royal
Evolution
Rumble
thing a few years ago, and she'll come back for the Rumble. Yeah.
How is she looking nowadays?
Oh, she looks fucking great.
Good.
Okay. Yeah. And what about Stacy? Has she been completely?
She's been gone.
Yeah.
Gone? Yeah, since 2002 probably. She's been just out of it. So
what does she do now?
Nothing.
Time to hit her up. Hold on.
hey, you're over the hill. Hey, come on.
So wait, was she dating George Clooney? Because I want to get back to that question.
Yeah, she did for a couple years before he met his wife.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yep. And everyone's like, holy shit, the chick from wrestling's with George Clooney.
Yeah.
Then all the wrestling fans were like, well, yeah, have you seen that butt?
Yeah. So I got a question for us here.
Yeah.
Reverting back to the beers. What is a canceled beer? Now, I don't mean politically incorrect canceled. I mean canceled, it's no longer made in production, that you would like to come back.
Let me see. As we're talking, I want to look up because I feel like this is something that as I see a beer, I'll know for sure.
I don't know if they still make the Dissident by Duchette's. Maybe it's just you can never find it over here anymore, but you could for a couple years in a row, back in the mid 2010s. And like that was my like favorite beer ever for whenever I could get my hands on it, but I haven't seen it in years. So I don't know if they stopped making it or if they just stopped like shipping as readily over to here.
Jim, I'm shocked you didn't say Keystone Light or Key Lightful.
Key Lightful?
These were apparently two beers made by Keystone. When Molson Coors discontinued 11 different brands, Keystone was almost on the chopping block, so they decided to keep light. But apparently there was Keystone Ice and Key Lightful, whatever the fuck that is.
I have never had a Key Lightful. I need to try this.
I've never, I've never even had just a Keystone. Is there such a thing?
Just a Keystone? That's a good question.
Maybe at some point there was. There must have been at some point.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to get like a case of Genesee one of these days, just to see what it's like.
You've never had that?
Never had Genesee.
Genesee's actually like, yeah, it's actually not bad. But no, going to ones that I wish they would bring back or whatever. Evil Genius actually had a beer. I'm going to get it wrong. It's either their Trick or Treat or their other, like it was a chocolate peanut butter beer.
Wasn't that the Purple Monkey dishwasher?
No, they have that one, but there was another one they had, and it was actually one of our early reviews. And basically, they're down to one Halloween beer, so either they have Trick or Treat now or the other one. I was kind of pissed they got rid of the other one because I actually liked it more than what they... Okay, so they still have Trick or Treat, so whatever the other one was, I remember thinking it was really good. I think it was another chocolate flavored like Halloween themed beer, and yeah, that they're one of those breweries that now like I don't want to say they went too mainstream, but they definitely cut a lot of their more experimental beers, and I always liked them.
I haven't had anything from them in the years, and they're local. They're fucking like Fishtown, Kensington. But
yeah, I don't know why you didn't.
I don't know. I just haven't gotten around to it. I just like I don't know. It's like, yeah, I've had it. You know what it is? Like, it's never, like, super impressed me anytime I did have it before. I was like, this is pretty good. But it's not, like, ever been, like, a go-to. But you know what? I do have to say one more beer just for the sake of, like, it would have been a perfect beer to have on standby for a fucking drinking game. Good old Ghostface Killer.
Yeah, that beer, and if you don't know, Nick, that was the world's spiciest beer.
Oh.
When I bought it at the bottle shop, it was like there must have been 10 or 15 of them, and they all had dust on them because nobody wanted any part. So naturally, I paid like $5 or $6 for the one bottle. I brought it with me, and it was the night Jim and I were doing the worst. Well, not the
worst thing to combo it with.
Well, yeah, we didn't mean to do the worst fighting games on 16-bit, but we ended up playing like Pit Fighter on the Super NES and a whole bunch of other terrible Super NES fighting games.
No.
So yeah, we started with Stella, and then I poured Jim literally a
half
Dixie
bottle.
cup. It was but you had like the Dixie cup size. He starts drinking it. He's like, "Oh, this is not good." Got halfway through that, and then proceeds to run in the bathroom and throw up.
That did not mix well at all. Oof.
Yeah. Was it like, did the spice make you throw up, or?
I think it was just like the spice, like it was hot.
It was really hot, but it wasn't like, oh my God, I can't handle this heat. It was just like, this is unnecessary. It wasn't fun. It didn't taste good. It was just like pure heat. But once again, it's not.
And it wasn't even like the fun endorphins, like of like doing that fucking stupid hot chip that I did, where you just go so insanely with the heat. It was like perfect level of like uncomfortable and not fun.
Yeah.
And when you put it mixed with fucking goddamn Stella, that was just a
yeah,
no good.
That would be fun to have around just for drinking challenges.
My beer would be Miller Fortune.
Miller Fortune. I vaguely remember.
It was a black bottle, and it had a red spade on the label. And it was like a...
Oh, shit. Yeah, it was a black bottle with the silver, right? The silver label, because I'm looking at it now. I do remember seeing this.
Yeah, and it was like a higher percent of alcohol, darker beer. It was pretty good.
Golden lager, 6.9%.
Oh, shit.
I definitely never had that.
It was around for a few years, and I was pretty upset when they took it off the shelf. It's pretty good. It'd be cool to like have it come back for like a limited run, you know?
I mean, shit, they brought back Crystal Pepsi for that little tiny bit.
Didn't they brought back Zima like a couple summers ago?
It's funny you said Zima. I literally just pulled that up. I've made the joke of Jim liking Zimas. Now, as a kid,
I've never had it. I'm actually pissed I didn't get around to getting a case.
Well,
of that
that's what I was going to say. Is
I never got
I remember being a kid and Zima was the joke. And I did before I even had alcohol. I remember
Simpsons.
It being a
Every
joke.
Simpsons episode, they would have a Zima commercial.
Yeah,
every time.
And I just want to know, like, what did it taste like? What was it like?
Yeah, because wasn't it clear?
It was crystal clear.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't know. Was it a wine cooler? Like, I don't even know what type of alcohol. It was a lightly. It's described as a lightly carbonated alcohol beverage, but like, I have zero idea. Like, what was it tasting like?
Maybe it was like a malt liquor.
I think it is like a malt liquor.
Well, that's what I don't know, though. Like, did it have a taste? Like, because when I see the commercials, it almost reminds me, and maybe probably just because it's clear and with ice cubes, I feel like, is it like a lemon lime, like, flavored
like
malt?
A zest.
Yeah, like a zest shit, but...
I think Anheuser-Busch owns it.
Miller Coors.
Oh, Miller Coors, okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So they could bring it back at any time again.
I hope if they do, we're getting it. I mean, shit, we bought the champagne bottle of Miller High Life, so
right.
If they ever bring back Zima, I got it just to try it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. We got to make a special night of that.
You know what else I wish they would bring back? What was that drink? Orbits with all the little floaties in it?
Oh, yeah.
That was in our drink. I think I maybe only had one time, and I was always like, I don't remember at all what it tastes like.
That was like a soda, right?
A beer, or?
No, it wasn't gum. It was like a soda, like little, like just look up Orbit's drinks and you'll know exactly.
It was like little floaty beads.
It looked like a lava lamp in a glass.
Yeah.
Like that's the best way. And I remember the bottles looking so cool. I have no idea what those little floating things are.
I've never seen that before. It does
really?
look like lava
As a
lamp.
kid, like every video game magazine I had, like those were blasted all over it when it was out.
That or Surge.
Do you think my parents bought me video game magazines? They didn't. Do you think I saw Orbits at Sam's Club? I didn't.
I thought you saw it off your friend's magazines, Jim. Come on.
Well, then I don't remember it though.
Jim, there's and I think LA Beast did an episode where he drank it. There is a bottle for $40 from 1990 to 2000, so I don't know the exact. We could get one unopened since then.
Oh, no.
Zima?
No, Orbits.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's some dinosaur Dracula shit.
Let me see
Do
if
it, Brian.
That's
That's why we have Patreon.
Oh, dude. Oh, fucking signs. Got me so excited. When you said Zima, I looked it up. I have a feeling they're not allowed to sell Zima on eBay. But, yeah, we got to try and find some Zima somewhere.
Love will find a way, Brian. Anyone out there listening, all of our $5 patrons. If you know anyone with Zima, let us up.
No, but Phony, that was a great question, and I always welcome the wrestling questions.
Damn right. So, So once again, thank you to all of our patrons. I mean, you're the ones who are listening to this. So, really appreciate the support.
Absolutely. You guys fucking rock.
All right, Nicholas. So you chose the movie this month. So why don't you let everyone know, what are we reviewing, and give us a little info on that bad boy.
All right. So excited. Need you to close your eyes, travel back to the year 2001?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, 2001. That's right. Wherever you were, the music that was popular. The extreme sports up in your face. The funny, gross-out, crude humor.
The 9 months at the Twin Towers.
Damn it, Jim! Don't kill the
Fuck!
bit.
Jim! Damn it! Dang it, Dale.
Sorry.
We are talking about an all-time classic that is in my top 10 of all time. It's not saying a whole lot because Biodome is in my top 5. But tonight we are talking about none other than Out Cold. Out Cold is a feel-good movie that I always watch every winter season. It is about, in a nutshell, a group of bumbling buffoon snowboard punks who live in a small town in Alaska, at a very popular snowboard resort, and it gets bought by a Vince McMahon type, and wants to just completely change the small town vibe of everything and turn it into like a giant fancy hoity-toity luxury place in town. And it's their mission to prevent all that from happening. Wackiness ensues. You've got a great killer soundtrack, which we're going to go over. We're going to go over all the details. That's the gist of it. Let's talk about the DVD cover for a second here. So, here, funny enough, I live in Arizona. You all know this. From the Arizona Daily Star, it says hilarious roller coaster laugh fest. And on another quote here says Animal House on Ice from Rally News and Observer. Another one here from the Chicago Sun-Times says X Games style snowboarding action. And the Associated Press says impressive stunts from some of the world's top pro snowboarders. So here's a look. I mean, this isn't really going to do a whole lot for the audio podcast, but for you guys,
if you're watching, I'll make sure I put up the picture.
The cast is very early 2000s. Let's go ahead and go over that here. Let me pull up the info here. So we've got. This is the very first time I ever saw him too. Zach Galifianakis as Luke. We've got Jason London from your, what is that movie?
Dazed and Confused.
Dazed and Confused fame. And also from Grind fame, which was a little bit later on. We've got AJ Cook. David Denman, who is also in The Office as a warehouse worker who was
Roy.
Engaged. Yep.
I was like, oh, it was fucking Roy.
Yeah. I was like, and he looks exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
So does Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah, he really
just
does.
Skinnier.
Yeah.
Yeah, slightly.
We've got Lee Majors, which is, I believe, the $1 Million Man.
$1 Million Man.
He is.
Yeah.
Named John Majors. They really
Yeah.
his capabilities for that.
Caroline Davernas and Victoria Silvestre. I don't know. That was the girl who played
Victoria
Inga.
Silvstedt.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Damn, right. How many times did you fap to her?
Did you not know she was, like, as a kid, she was, like, the Playboy Playmate of the Year many times? Did you not know that?
She looked familiar.
And also, like, that was the running joke with the South Park writers, and even in basketball, they mentioned her many times.
Oh, that is her. Fuck.
Oh!
You're right.
So what the fuck are we talking about here?
I recognize the name more than the person. Jesus.
Yeah. And then just to wrap this up, we've got Flex Alexander as Anthony, Derek Hamilton as my favorite, Pigpen, which is Luke's brother. And then last but not least, we've got David Koechner as Stumpy, who is like the best.
Yeah.
He's like your town narrator.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep. Champ Kind from Anchorman, for those who don't recognize the name.
And he's always going to remember it as Champ Kind, but the voice he does particularly for this, oh man, this is going to show that I have kids. I've seen the movie No Malone on Netflix too much, and he's the dwarf at the end, and he does the same exact voice. But there's one guy you didn't mention, Nick.
The fat kid from Bad Santa?
Well, he's in there too. Yes,
oh yeah.
But Thomas Lennon, who's
Reno 911.
Reno 911.
That's right. Yeah.
I
just went off the top build cast.
Yeah, but no, he's he's a standout, but I'm sure we'll get to that.
And I mean, he's even almost the same character in this movie.
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah. And then we also got the late Willie Garrison, who just passed last September.
And he was a character actor. Like, I can't think of him. The only movie I can think of that I off the top of my head was, I know he was in There's Something About Mary.
Yeah.
But the other movies, and I'm looking him up now. He was in Kingpin.
He's like it's that guy.
Yeah, he's
Who's
always
Willie Garrison in this?
he's the owner of the resort.
Yeah, he's Papa Munt's son.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was Arquette. What's his face? Fucking not David. It was some other Arquette.
Nah, he's Willie Garrison.
Is
Garson.
he? Okay, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Oh yeah, you're right. That is 10 months. Who the fuck was I thinking?
Louis Arquette was Papa Muntz.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, fucking the young. Oh shit. Oh, he died. The one who played the young Mutts? No shit.
Yeah. Yep.
Really?
Yeah, in September.
No. Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
And is it bad that when I saw the cover, because let me just say one thing real quick. When I saw the cover, I've never seen this movie. I was like, Nick Cannon is in this movie. I thought that guy looked.
Right, stop confusing your
No,
black guys.
I swear, but I
Every
made
time.
that same mistake with this guy because he was also in Flex Alexander. He was also in fuck, what movie was it that I did the same thing? No, in Snakes in a Plane, I knew it was him. There was another one. Oh, The Hills Have Eyes too. I remember seeing like a poster for that, and I was like, the dude legit looks like Nick Cannon. I don't care what you tell me.
You know what, dude?
Brian's watching Drumline and going, "That's fucked Alexander."
Damn it,
Brian, you just made me realize that Nick Cannon was not in The Hills Have Eyes too.
there you go. There you go.
Holy shit! I was like, "What are you talking about, dude?" He's
I disavow, you bunch of racists.
There you go.
This is ridiculous.
oh god.
So yeah. Now cast. I mean, we should just say from the get, like, especially Zach and David Koechner, like, and Roy. I was like, holy shit! I had never ever heard of this movie, and I was like, all these people are in it.
I'd heard of it but never seen it.
Yeah, this movie. I mean, I was 10 years old when I saw it in the movie theaters, and I was the perfect demographic for it. You know, especially back then. You know, like I think anywhere from 10 to 18. That's like your demographic for this movie, with the jokes, the action sports. You know, like Tony Hawk was at an all-time high, and then all the was it like 2 Extreme, 3 Extreme, all the X games. Games for the PS1. You got 1080 and SSX and whatnot. It was just awesome. And unfortunately, the opening song to this movie, it was a really good song. It's called Anytime by Eve 6. The only way you can actually own this song nowadays is if you have the official soundtrack, which is not available on Spotify, not available on iTunes. You have to have the physical media. And that song, in my opinion, is probably Eve 6's best song, maybe even most popular. It's something that I'll jam out to all the time. You know, you can hear it on YouTube. You know, like some people have just ripped it from the movie, uploaded it to YouTube, and that's how I listen to it. It's a really good song. You've also got Makes No Difference from Sum 41. Yeah. And then you've got a ton of Jack Johnson in this movie, too.
Oh, yeah.
And then Island in the Sun was the big song.
Island in the Sun,
big one, yeah.
But you pointed out earlier, they had Foo Fighters, Andrew WK, Jimmy Eat World. So they had the soundtrack of the time. Like, it was really, I was like, oh, shit. No, the soundtrack it did bring me back to 2001.
Yeah, it is like pop punk energy all around.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, how did this do, though, commercially?
Okay, so it had a budget of $11 million, which is actually pretty surprising when you consider the stunts.
I guess at that time, yeah. Well, the stunts, also, though, we know snowboarders and shit. Like, they probably didn't need an excuse to get paid much to do shit they love anyway.
Yeah, back then especially. But I mean, like when you figure all the helicopters they had to rent and all the gas and because they use the snowmobiles and whatnot, I don't know. But anyways, yeah, it had a budget of $11 million, and to be completely honest here, they made their money back and then some. In the box office, they made $14.8 million.
Now, actually, I'm going to say the Wikipedia disputes that and says the budget was $28 million.
Oh. I'm right here just on Google.
Okay.
Yeah.
That might be right. Yeah, because according to Box Office Mojo,
that's weird.
I guess.
Google says, who's right? Oh, yeah. Well, alcohol. The 24 million seems to be estimated.
That's probably with advertising. Yeah. Commercials and whatnot.
Yeah.
So maybe it was made for that, and then because the advertising budget's always like double what the actual cost of the movie turns out to be.
Right.
Yeah.
So that could be it.
Mm-hmm. So I guess you could look at it one of two ways. If this is a straight budget for 11 million, it could be a success. With the budget of the advertising, a flop. We've got an IMDb score.
Wait. I'm going to try to guess.
Okay.
So, IMDb is 100%. That's users, right?
Yes. Well, there's critics on there, or not critics.
But I think the score you see is always user based.
Yeah.
That one's never shipped that much. So I'm going to say it got a 5 on IMDb.
Jim?
I already looked up looked up Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic, so I can't do it.
Okay. So on IMDb, it got a 6.2 out of 10.
Okay.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
That's the lowest.
Rotten Tomatoes, I'm going to say, critics. Critics probably hated this movie. I'm going to say they gave it like a 18. And then users, I would say probably stick with what I said with IMDb, more like 55.
Well, you're pulling a Jim here, and you're really wrong.
Uh-oh.
So
how do you like it? Wait, I'm never wrong. Fuck you all.
So what was the user score?
The critics...
I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah, the critical score was 8%.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And the audience score, 84%.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I know the audience score is obviously always... Not always... It's never been that different for a movie I can think of, but holy hell.
Maybe that's like Amy Schumer movie level of like disparity.
Right?
Yeah.
So there on the critics, there were 49 reviews, and for the audience, there were 25,000 plus reviews.
So the
ratings.
Critics gave it 8. Well, like I said, I was going 18 because I was like, do they really go that low from a critic score? But wow, 8. Okay. But 80, wow.
Yeah. It is a giant gap in score.
I mean, clearly, it's like what you're saying. People who love this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Critics, I mean, I knew it was right away going to be bashed by the critics.
Even on Google, for Google users, 73% liked this movie. So it's more favorable among the general population than
the ones that watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick, did you do Metacritic? I have it in front of me.
I actually don't. It's not pulling up here.
All right, Brian, what are you guessing for Metacritic?
I can't say that because then I pulled it up now, so I just saw what it was.
Okay.
All right, never mind. Yeah, 22 on Metacritic for the reviews, 7.4 for the user score out of 10. So 7.4 out of 10.
So it's just so different. Like wow.
Your general audience will really like this movie, and your cinema snobs will not.
Yeah. Holy shit. That's interesting. So Jim, we'll start with you. What'd you like about this movie?
Actually, I took a shitload of notes during the course of it. Now,
awesome.
Me being, I have to say, I am 36. I am of my time. I'm from a different time from the current zeitgeist. So every time Lee Majors looked
I know what you're gonna
at Ted and he only addressed him as retard, I laughed every time.
I knew watching this. I was like, Jim is giggling every time he says this.
And I was like, oh, fuck. But yeah, and you know what? I fucking love. I am a sucker. I'm a mark for David Koechner. He plays the same character every time, but I'm a goddamn sucker for it every time. And in this one, he was another goddamn treat.
Every scene he's in is it? Yeah.
Yeah, he steals the show every scene he's in, and I want to say I guess without giving too much away of how I feel about the movie, I will definitely say it got stronger as it went on.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, I like. Honestly, I felt like Zach Galifianakis in a lot of his scenes made me laugh more than I thought. At first, like to Jim's point, when it started, I was like, okay, what is this? And then as the Zach Galifianakis, like as stupid as it was, and I'm pissed at myself, I laughed. Like after the car slams a dude's head into the steering wheel.
Oh, that,
like, I was like, it didn't, like, I knew he was going to have a reaction, but some reason, like, it just, that made me laugh harder than it should have.
That level of violence.
The brutality of it.
It was like, and his face, like, I was looking at his face, he's so fucking angry. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, with the hot tub was obviously fun. Even the polar bear.
His
like,
little Elvis.
Yeah, like, all that. Well, and the hot tub scene, it was made even better. Like, I wish they did more David Koechner and him together.
Right.
He's like helping get him out of there.
Yeah.
I liked, like I said, it is that atypical. It's the perfect turn off your. But it's also the perfect turn off your brain cliche movie. Now, granted, I am sure there were plenty of 80s. I'll be honest, I don't know. I couldn't name you 5 other snowboarding movies or skiing movies, but that cliche of the locals are trying to protect their mountain, then rich dude
South
comes
Park
in.
episode.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So South Park, it's
that
always
was making
sunny.
fun of that whole genre.
Yeah. So like, It's Always Sunny made fun of it, and I'm almost like when South Park and these guys did it, were they doing it because of something like Out Cold? And like I said, I'm not saying Out Cold's original. I'm just saying, like, that seems like the only movie I've ever seen that was before all the cliches I saw as a kid or saw throughout the years. Because, like, to a T, especially It's Always Sunny, the rich guy coming, the party guys. Like, I was like, wow, this feels like where they could have, like, been mocking it from.
And also like Hot Tub Time Machine, yeah.
Exactly.
Because according to the Wikipedia, it's saying it's being a parody. Now I'm like, is it being a parody, or did it start as a love letter and then it bombed, and then they're like, oh no, it's actually a parody? So
that's what I can't figure out. Yeah. And because I don't know the history of snowboarding and ski resort movies, I actually like the cliche here, because I can imagine if I was a kid and saw this, I'd be like, that's the first time I saw something like that. And that mentality of like, turn off your brain, be a cliched, don't try too hard movie.
Yeah.
With jokes that may or may not hit, but there is something that feel good movie. Like, I think I've just watched too much horror and ironic and sarcastic movies recently where everything's like shitty. And this is just at the end, you just smile, you go, okay. And the last thing I'll say of a like of mine, and I really wish movies would bring this back, because 2000 comedies in 2000s all did this. Bring back the fucking blooper reel at the end of a movie.
Yeah, I did like the blooper reel thing. Yeah.
Like, every fucking movie used to do that. I used to love that. Going to movies in the 2000s, especially comedies, they all had, like, once they picked up, like, that's something people want to stay for. That's before the Avenger after credit shit. The bloopers were the thing people stayed for, and I enjoyed them so much.
Yeah.
I don't know why movies don't do it
And at least they had the
anymore.
wherewithal to do it in the beginning of the credits, so it isn't like... It made the credits only like half as long as they really were.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, even Jackie Chan movies are notorious for that, too.
They were the ones that, to me, like, that was the first ones I ever saw doing it. And then especially when he did Rush Hour, I feel like, I started seeing comedies do it. And like I said, 2000s, and for some reason... that fell by the wayside. Like, I feel like everyone just takes their shit too serious now. Right. I want to see the bloopers. That makes me like the movie even more.
Exactly.
Yeah. And what about you, Nick? I mean, obviously we know it's one of your favorites, but...
Right. Yeah, so, generally speaking, some of the things I really like about this movie, number one, the soundtrack. It is very... This movie almost just feels like a very long music video. Because I feel the pacing of the movie in relation to the soundtrack flows like fucking water. Like,
and actually, not to interrupt you real quick, but the directors are mostly known for directing music videos.
Exactly.
So that makes sense.
Yeah. Like, the soundtrack, the pacing of the movie, and everything. It goes really hand in hand, and I think makes the movie flow. And like you guys said, the later in the movie, the stronger it gets, and I think that's because of the pacing that the soundtrack itself sets up. Another thing that I really like is the naive sense of humor that this whole movie has. It doesn't really like hold back punches. It is a PG-13 movie, but at the same time, it is a movie of its time. And I love there's a part one of my favorite parts is where they all get randomly drug tested.
Yeah, actually, I did like that.
And
part.
Pigpen goes, "I don't need to take a test to tell you I do drugs." It's like, it's just stupid little things like that make me crack up. And it is a turn off your brain and allow yourself to laugh. Like, I feel like this movie, if it were to come out nowadays, it would get fucking canceled.
Oh, it would be
immediately.
You couldn't do it.
Yeah, like, it's like trying to bring back American Pie. Like, it wouldn't happen nowadays. So yeah, soundtrack, sense of humor, and the fucking stunts. Like, in the blooper reel, you see the wipeout footage.
Oh yeah,
you see
those guys.
Yeah, you see the intense, like, actual fucking stunts, the stakes. I mean, these guys drop in at the fucking peak of a 88-degree angle fucking mountain, and you see them shred the fuck out of this shit. The race at the beginning of the movie is awesome, to be king of the mountain and whatnot. So yeah, like, the stunts, the soundtrack, and the sense of humor just make this movie, like, one of my favorites.
Can I add in one more scene I did like a lot?
Yeah.
And it was a recurring scene, but every time, and it's why I like that dude, Thomas Lennon, who played Eric. When he's always like, "I'm going to put my something up your ass." He's like, that time there wasn't even a threat. He's like, "You're just flirting with me." What the hell? Like, every time. And his little, like as he's trying to go after, and you sparked me when he, like, tried to go after Pigpen after seeing this shit in the cup.
And I actually did really love that one fucking line when I mean, spoiler for a 21-year-old movie, whatever, fucking.
Right.
But when Roy from The Office, whatever his name was, when, like, they were like, "Yeah, you're gay," and he's like, "Yeah," And they're like, and Pigpen was like, "Yeah, if you weren't, you would just be really weird.
You'd be a weird guy." Yeah,
you'd be a really weird straight guy. Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, I was gonna say I was adopted, but I guess since we're here."
And then he like puts his hand up.
The hand up, and then it flips. Like you said.
Man.
You brought up one good point, Nick. I do like that they just didn't care. Like, they joked the joke. Like, it was so everything was on the nose. It was as lowbrow humor as it gets.
It didn't take itself seriously, but it had heart of a feel-good movie.
So yeah, I mean, speaking of the jokes and how they landed, I think this is a good point to go into things I didn't like so much. My number one issue with this movie, it really needed to be rated R. Like, it teetered that line too much of, like, it's trying to be that American Pie adult humor, like Eurotrip.
Right.
And if the scenes, like, even especially as a teenager, if Victoria Silvstedt was full naked in that hot tub, if when Pigpen saves that group of women instead of doing the cutaways, they probably would have went even heavier with the cursing and, like, made it feel that much more, like, dangerous. And who knows what else they could have gotten away with if they went to that rated R.
Right.
Maybe the jokes could have got even more risque. That was something where I was like, oh man, they just kept taking the jokes up to a certain line and stopping. And
I will say one shocking thing when you think back on it, for having a black guy in it, there's, like, absolutely no racial jokes at all. They never went to that, like, level at all with anything in there. So
yeah, Jim. Yeah. Most people aren't like you.
Brian, you're the one who confused all the black guys earlier.
Because that's all you want to think about, Jim.
Right. I'm just saying, for a movie of its time, it's very surprising and forward-thinking of them. So
it was actually kind of weird because it's like an athletic thing that they're doing, right? Snowboarding and whatnot. He's the worst at it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the running gag of him damn it, Jim. The running gag of him wiping out was pretty funny. But like I said, I think if they had a rated R, or they could have just taken, like I said, some of the jokes a little further. Some things would have hit even harder. And who knows how the writing would have turned out if they weren't limited by staying within PG-13. That being said, and this is just my own personal bias, I never really liked Jason London, whatever his name is. Even in Dazed and Confused, I didn't like him. I don't like him in this movie because he's just too... I don't care about him. I care so much more about the supporting cast that I almost hate, like, the hottest chick in town wants this guy just because he won the King of the Mountain. And, like, that French chick is going to leave her doctor husband, which... You know, I will have to laugh. Like I did,
Doctor Husband.
I did another scene. Another scene that was great was like they're getting ready to kick his ass, and I love the slow play like of, he's getting out, and they're like, and even Galifianakis is like, I don't feel so comfortable kicking this guy's ass now. like I liked jokes like that, but yeah, like I said, I wasn't a fan of Jason London. But outside of that, like I said, it is just the thing, because I feel like they couldn't go R, some of the jokes did just kind of feel like, okay. Now, that could also be my 35-year-old brain, which has seen a ton of these movies, and I'm like, it feels like a cliche movie to me, even though back then it would have felt a little more newer. So I'm probably seeing it in the wrong mindset, like having already seen so many movies. That's like if nobody ever saw American Pie, the original, and saw it today, they'd be like, that's kind of stupid, because some of these things have been done, like, you gotta appreciate it. Like,
yeah, true.
Comedies are weird. Like, I'm sorry, I saw Caddyshack, and I was like, it's okay, but the previous generation would be like, it's the funniest thing ever, like Animal House and this and that. It doesn't work for future generations, unfortunately. So it's very dated it'll always be dated, but it'll be like you said, it's a good timestamp of the time, the music, the sport. So it was good for those things, but that will also date it terribly. Right. What about you, Chambers?
I fucking hated the first third of this movie. I hated the intro. I was like, okay, let's see where this is going. And then like the non-stop skateboarding or the snowboarding scenes, I couldn't fucking care less. I was like, oh no, this is going to be one of these movies. And then, like I said...
Is it just because you can't stand on a snowboard?
No, not besides, even though I can't. But it was just like, I was like, oh my God, this movie's so lazy. It's 3 lines of dialogue and then 10 minutes of just snowboarding. And then like the middle of it, that's when like like I said, it got better as it went on. And the middle of the movie I thought it was pretty damn strong as a comedy and just as like, you know, as a decent movie of its time in general. I thought that was fine. And then the end, they had to wrap it up with that typical, you know, embarrassing the rich guy thing that's been done a billion times before. So whatever. Right. Like I kind of thought that was like, you know, a wet fart, but it was like a predictable, fine wet fart to go out on. But like I really did like the middle part of it. So I'll give it that. You talk about the soundtrack. I love that it was a soundtrack of its time. But one of my biggest pet peeves in movies is when every single different scene has a different song. And anytime that happens, and this movie was guilty of that, like every scene transition, it was a different song. Different song from the early 2000s. Different song from the early 2000s. I was like, fuck enough. Like, let something breathe a little bit. Like, it's fine.
Hey,
but that...
They did have I Like Big Butts, and I cannot lie.
They had that as well. So it wasn't just the songs of the time, but every single time was just another song. I'm like, fuck. And it hurt me earlier when you're like, Pigpen's one of my favorite characters because except for a few scenes, I couldn't fucking stand Pigpen. I was like, I get what they're going for with this, and I hope the point of the movie was to be a parody, because if it wasn't, I was like, I can't fucking, like, he's too over the top for what he's trying to be. Yeah. Like, you've seen the character 1,000 times, and I get the character. It's fine. But it was just, he was too much for me for the most part. But he did have his standout scenes, like the drug test scene and a couple other ones. So. Yeah.
Jim, is part of that anger is because you're basically Pigpen?
I'm not basically Pigpen. I did not really know too much.
Jim, I'm just saying.
Especially that part where he's like humping the bench while he's asleep. I can see Jim doing that. You know?
For sure.
Yeah.
Hey, absolutely. That's shitting in a cup, I can see you doing that.
Fuck you. That's when he was the most relatable, goddammit.
I guess.
But no, I had like a bunch of stuff like that. So like, but I will say, like I said before, I really did enjoy like the middle third of the movie. I thought that was like, you know what my problem with the movie is? I got really strong. You guys ever seen Empire Records?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got really strong Empire Records vibes from it. Okay. And I don't hate Empire Records, but that's like one of those movies when I was like in my mid-teens, everyone's like, oh, you've never seen Empire Records? You gotta see Empire Records. Empire Records is the best movie ever. And it's basically like format-wise, plot-wise, the fucking different song every goddamn scene-wise. Mm-hmm. It's like the exact same movie as Empire Records. But, and like I don't know. So like I just like got that same feeling again. I was like, oh, I don't want to watch Empire Records again. So maybe I had that going against it for me too. But like I said, the middle third of the movie I fucking loved. So I'll give it that. It wasn't like, because at first I was like, because I rented it off YouTube to watch it. And, here's actually a funny thing that I learned randomly by doing it this way. Even if you have YouTube Premium, which lets you play, YouTube videos in the background if you close out of the window, it doesn't let you do that for videos you buy through YouTube. So, yeah, you have to have it, like, because, like, say I
buy or rent.
I rented. I didn't buy.
So maybe if you buy, you might be able to.
Maybe, but now it's like I don't know this movie, so yeah. But yeah, so $4, whatever. But yeah, so I was like, oh, that's weird that I can't because just to check a text message, it would stop. I was like, oh, what the fuck? But
wait, did you watch it on your phone?
Yeah.
Why didn't you use a laptop
or your TV?
Yeah,
you could have done that.
Or your fucking Switch or something.
Do you think the fidelity would have been that much better? With
I'm just saying, like,
it's not like we're looking at some technical masterpiece here. It's
but
like
there's
I'm
no
the Matrix.
movie that if I was gonna watch for the first time, I want to see on a little ass screen with terrible sound. And
dude, I live off my phone. That does not matter for me at this point.
Like, especially with the scenery of this movie, like you gotta admit, the scenery was really good for this.
Oh, the wide pan shots and everything, they were pretty fucking cool. And like you said, the stunts, they were impressive. Like, they were good. I just thought it was a little. You know what? I think they should have spaced out all the skateboarding or snowboarding shit more.
God damn it, Jim!
What movie did you watch, Jim? Did you even watch this?
Yes, I fucking watched it. I just mixed up my.
Did you watch Grind instead?
Do I look like a boarder? Do I look like a guy who boards?
You were the guy that was watching the guys board.
The Boards with Ice. The Boards with Ice movie.
You ever seen Rocket Power?
I've never even heard of Rocket Power.
Oh, it was a cartoon on Nickelodeon.
No. I bet if I look it up, I'd recognize it.
Yeah, you would be Sam. Just for future reference, whenever you look it up.
I have a feeling a future bonus episode is going to be like, oh, let's watch a season of Rocket Power. And then we're going to come on here and be like, you motherfuckers!
Fuck you! Yeah.
So this is long-term foreshadowing here.
Yeah, this is story building.
Yeah, exactly. This is building the lore of the podcast bonus episodes. But yeah, so like, overall, like, my favorite movie in the world, like, no. But it at least had a lot of parts of it that I really did like, so it wasn't like, because the first third I was like, oh my fucking god, what is this? But then I eventually did grow to like kind of like it, so I'll give it that.
And Nick, what about you?
So as far as things like I didn't like to kind of jump off of what you said, Brian, like the dryness of Jason London. He was, like, when you look at the scope of the cast, it is a very unique and almost like kind of like perfect supporting cast.
Yeah.
And it's the supporting cast really does a hell of a job to carry and sell Jason as the
every guy.
Yeah, the stereotypical like every guy that becomes a hero, rises above ordinary circumstances. I would have liked him to have a little bit more of an edge to him because as a 10-year-old when I saw this movie for the first time, I thought he was really cool. And then when I saw it again, like throughout my teenage years and whatnot, ended up getting the DVD. I was like, man, I'm like 15, just got my heart broken and shit. He's acting the way I'm acting about being heartbroken. And he's like a 20-something-year-old. Like,
yeah.
Even then, I was like, he's a little bit of a bitch. I told you not to play the song.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm sorry, I do have to interrupt one piece. That fucking soul patch, it's not even a triangle. It's a little rectangle going the wrong way. It is the worst facial hair. And I've seen some stupid-ass facial hairs. What is that? Like
I used to just have the chin thingy here.
Yeah.
But you at least, I remember at least, even if that was like in a spot that made sense. The soul patch, if you're gonna have it, you got to do a little triangle or something. Like it's literally a rectangle.
And actually, sorry to interrupt too. For Nick's point, is it something with the London brothers where they're always the worst part of their movies? Because like I immediately thought as you were talking about that, I was thinking of Mallrats and how his brother Jeremy London is like the main character of that basically, and he's also the most boring, everyman, nothing to him part of that movie, kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
I think they're both just very. I don't know.
They're twins. That's what kind of like sucks
that doesn't
in their
help
regard.
either. Yeah,
And they have twin personalities too.
Yeah.
At least one's a drunk now.
To bounce off what you said, Brian, I can't necessarily critique that soul patch that he had.
Don't tell me you had the rectangle. Tell me you at least made it a point.
Don't
tell me you.
I had the mustache under my bottom lip, and it's fucking ironic or coincidental, whatever. Facebook memories happened to show me yesterday what I looked like.
I am looking up some old Nick pictures.
So are you telling me you had an inverse Hitler? Is that what you're telling me?
I did, and I just let it go, dude. Like it could have been a legit mustache. It was.
But did it go? Did it span at least a good portion of your bottom lip, or was it really just that small piece like him?
Oh no! So I can. It's like from here to here.
So at least it's longer. His was that tiny, like little.
Yeah.
I'm like,
no, it wasn't like peach fuzz, but still, I saw that picture. I was like,
you're like, no.
And this was like 3 years ago. You know, I was like, you know what? I was in a bad marriage.
You know, and here's the deal. I did the Jeff Hardy facial hair of the crazy lines on my face, and hey, you know what? I will say it was an easy talking off point, especially with girls, because they're like, "Did you spend time on that?" Da, da, da. So I'm not saying, you know, I've always had perfect facial hair. I'm just saying that pissed me like watching it because they zoomed in on his face too many times.
You just want to pull it.
I'm like, what the fuck? Just shave it.
Dude, fucking Nick is full on fucking Brendan Schaub with that little like mustache and a little Hitler down there too.
Oh, god damn it. You fucking looked it up.
I did.
I might even be wearing the same shirt.
When you have your stubble with the strong mustache, you look like Angry Joe. When you have the little mustache with the reverse Hitler, you look like Brendan Schaub.
You know what's funny, dude? Every fucking con that I went to at that time,
you got confused.
People always thought I was Angry Joe. Or they would say, are you cosplaying as Angry Joe? I'm like, who the fuck is Angry Joe? I'm Nerdy Nick. You know, I'm like, you're insulting me.
Fat. Shut up.
I'm like, you're insulting me because I look like this, okay? Yeah. Like, fuck you. I don't even know who this Angry Joe is. He's got to wear a leather jacket all the time. Anyways, yeah. So, like, Jason London. What a fucking tangent. That's what we should have called this podcast. Tangents.
It happens every time.
Yeah. And then I also didn't like... I don't think... And this is kind of like stupid, nitpicky, whatever. I don't think they used the F-bomb.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like
maybe once. PG-13 movies get away with one.
Yeah,
especially back in that day. So
as many times as I've seen this movie, I don't think I've heard it. I heard it once. The jokes could have gone a little further, but then I think back to when I said about the demographic, like 10 years old to maybe like 21 years old. They would have lost out on a lot of money if this movie was rated R. This might have even made like $5 million maybe.
For sure. Yeah.
I mean, this didn't do great as is. If it was rated R,
exactly.
Yeah,
and that's probably what kept it from being R. But
sure.
Because I like this movie so much, I really don't. I'm self-biased here.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to. Like, if
you don't have to explain yourself to us. We all have our movies that we just like.
Trust me. Like, Jim and I will both be picking movies that the other two will probably be like, "What the fuck is it?" Like, that's fine.
Why did you do this to me? Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But no, like I said, this one, like I said, I think Jim and I are in agreement. Having never seen this, like, at first watching it, I was like, "What is this?" But like I said, when I think about the individual scenes, there's a lot of scenes, and I know we already hit off a couple of them, but you know, there are. Like Jim didn't like the King of the Mountain scene. I said I do. I like I do like seeing the stunt aspect and the goofiness of like, okay, trying to hold on to your beer, spitting it in, like something like that is just, it's a goofy scene.
That her flashing the boob saved it for you.
Mm-hmm. That definitely say. I mean, my question
you don't see
is,
Nip, but it's
here's my question.
Do you think that was her?
No, I was about to say. I guarantee
stunt.
that's stunt boob.
Yeah,
that is stunt boob all the way.
Standing.
Still, a younger me, if I was 10 watching that would have to make it to the VHS tape. I mean, there's no way it wouldn't. So
would you say that would pop your top off?
Son of a bitch.
My God.
But I'm trying to think through the movie and I know we hit a lot of the scenes, but for all of its faults, what it is at the end of the day, it does make up for it, maybe not the most coherent or whatever clean thought out story. It's cliched.
What the fuck
What
did Lee Majors call the what did he call Barry when he was flying a plane? He was like, "What's Captain Cripple doing here?"
Oh yeah,
Captain Cripper. Yeah.
Fucking Lee Majors was so good in this movie.
Yeah, Lee Majors was better than he needed to be. And
yes, he was. He was that perfect Southern Texas fucking billionaire dickhead guy.
Well, and to your point, if it had been who knows? He called the dude a retard how many times? Who knows how much worse it would have went had it been rated R?
Seriously, yeah.
I can only imagine what would have been like. So, yeah, and you know what?
For any younger viewers out there, fucking 2000 calling your buddy a retard was like sneezing. That's
dude, that was
did. I'm pretty sure we'd still say that to each other in private or whatever. I don't know.
Hey, and once again, I still say it on the podcast now. But what do you call it? What do you call it? Once again, I'll give it credit. Very respectful of people because for a movie of its time, they didn't say the F slur at all either. They were very respectful for the gay portion of it.
They did, though.
I don't remember them saying it.
I think at one point, what's his face? Zach Galifianakis, somebody said something to him and he said, "I'm not at that." I'm almost I'm not 100%.
Oh,
I thought he said because I heard it. I was like, I was almost expecting it because a movie of the time, I mean, shit, Jerry Lawler was calling every wrestler, especially Goldust, that at a time. So,
yep,
yeah,
or every crowd to Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
So, no, but to your point though, it is weird the progressive shit, like you said, the dude, the fact that's there was no corny over the top black jokes for that guy.
I don't think there were any.
There weren't. No, there wasn't even a single. And the fact that Roy, even when he came out as gay, no one even cracked a joke after the fact.
Dude, one of the best lines they fucking had in that was when after he came out and he's with Jeremy London, and the girls were walking by, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna hit all those tits up, and he's like, dude, you don't have to say that anymore. He's like, oh, you're right. I'm gonna do all the guys. He's like, you don't have to say that either.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I said that showed a weird level of maturity for back then.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, being a teenager, especially going to American Pies and movies like that, you'd hear it, shit. You would hear way worse at every other drop. So that was kind of huh. Okay.
I guess looking back, it is. I'm not PC. I don't think Jim is either, or you, Brian. But
no.
it is
my 9/11 joke wasn't PC earlier.
Damn it, Jim.
Too soon. But yeah, it is looking back. It is cool to see because I'm the kind of type that's live and let live, whatever.
Right.
Just don't fuck with my life. But it was cool to see the whole progressiveness, I guess, or just open acceptance.
Yeah, it wasn't being overly progressive, but it just wasn't it wasn't taking the easy way out with a lot of the jokes that it could.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Which I mean, through our lens in 2022, it's wow, this is really fucking going.
It's a movie that, honestly, if people today saw it, they'd be mad at Lee Majors calling him a retard. But
yeah,
honestly,
retard's the only thing that people would be mad at.
But honestly, if they looked at other movies of the time, they could be so much more up in arms. And like I said, that was the more shocking part to me.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't know if they didn't go that route because it was a PG-13 and not a rated R. If they would have turned the jokes a little more risque, I don't know. But like I said, it's one that now I can be honest. I'm not gonna buy it or rent it again. Mm-hmm. But if it's on, I won't I'll certainly turn, like, especially at certain scenes. I want to see David Koechner scenes again. I want to see, like,
David
Zach.
Koechner's so fucking good.
Be careful what you wish for.
Dude,
yeah.
Fucking one of my favorite lines is during the bloopers at the end when he's just ranting as his David Koechner self.
as they're carrying him off.
He's like, Alan Greenspan runs the government. And I'm like, holy shit, he's 100% right. He runs the Federal Reserve. They do run the government.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He's not, like, he's playing it up as a kook, but he's secretly putting in, like, actual shit.
Oh, right, man. I love, you know what? Let's go ahead and transition this into favorite scene.
All right, Nick, so favorite scene. Let's hear it.
Man, and this one's a tough one for me just because there are so many, like, funny, quick, jokes. There's a lot of, the physical comedy and just the verbal back and forth between everybody. But I want to say my favorite scene is when, gosh dang it, I can't remember his name. David Koechner? Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
When he comes up to Rick in the bar, Jason London's character, and he starts going on this ramble about how, he got kicked out of a town because he wanted to have a duel with the mayor's son, but that was ungentlemanlike, and I cannot remember the fucking verbiage because it was so out there, and he was like, JFK was in office and Nixon was running the country to the ground.
Yeah, because he was like, it was the 1980s, and JFK was in office, and Nixon was president, and like it was all the wrong timing info. Shit.
Yeah, and you want to challenge the mayor's son to a gentleman's duel, but it is viewed as uncool. Yeah, and then he just looks at Rick, puts his hand on the bar, and he's got his knife in his hand, like his fucking predator knife, and he goes, Rick, be careful what you wish for. And he goes, okay, Stumpy. That was his character's name. You go, okay, Stumpy. Okay. And he goes, Rick, be careful what you wish for. And then he slams his knife down into the bar.
Into his hand.
Yep.
And at first you don't think he gets his hand, but then he makes this, like, that pucker face, like, and then they're like, oh my god. And then he, instead of pulling the knife out, he pulls the knife and his hand out, like, together.
Yep.
And they're like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm okay. And then, that's the scene. And you're like, what the fuck what did I watch?
Yep. What about you, Chambers?
I actually already said my favorite line with you don't have to say that anymore, you don't have to say that either line. Like, I just thought that was, like, so short and sweet and just, like, so perfect of a joke. Like, I was like, that one just really stuck out to me.
Nice. Yeah. I kind of said mine as well. Fuck, man. It's tough because there's smaller moments I think are funnier.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say it once again, the one that caught me off guard because I didn't think I was going to laugh at it was the car scene.
When
they span him around.
Because I was like, at first, I was like, number one, I'm always a fan, like, of, like, funny, like, pulling pranks on your friends when they're drunk. Like, that is a funny thing to do. Never did anything close to that extreme, obviously. But like, I love the setup. I love how they do it. I love how, like, everyone in the town is in on it.
Right.
And yeah, the Zach Galifianakis, like, the moment he, like, realizes and they start laughing and the anger in his face as he starts hitting it, like, it caught me so off guard that I, like, legit laughed loud as shit. I was like, what the fuck?
Well, they kind of just beat the shit out of each other the whole movie. Like,
yeah.
They did.
Brother dynamic is great.
There's like, straight up, like, sucker punching and shit like that. Like, knocking them on their ass in the face.
Yeah, when Pigpen sucker punches him after the race.
Yeah.
And then, even later when they're fighting after the party. Like, those two go at it hard.
Yeah. Like, when he sucker punches him and Pigpen goes, woo!
And then but like I said, that scene where Pigpen shits in the cup, like that moment,
that was funny as shit,
and it's funny because I even knew. I remember Pigpen held up the cup. He's like, "You want me to go to the bathroom in this?" I right away was like, "Tell me he's gonna shit in it." And the way they framed, like, everyone putting down piss, and then they just put the giant turd, and like that dude's reaction, the follow up, like I said. There's funnier individual scenes, but yeah, the car scene, just because it caught me off guard so much. Like, I was not expecting that.
For our audio, well, for anyone who's listening, watching, whatever, why don't you set up the scene? Because I don't think you talked about what the prank was.
So the primary thing throughout the movie, at least the part Jim hated, the first third, is like Zach Galifianakis is the one who gets so fucked up that he is passed out and you can't wake him. So at the beginning of the movie, they leave him outside with his pants down, and a polar bear comes over and starts licking his junk, and he like freaks out. So now they've set up this idea that that's who he is.
Good boy. I mean girl.
Yeah. So at this particular scene, he gets drunk in the bar. So his brother Pigpen, the bartender, and it wasn't John Landon. The fuck.
Nick Cannon.
Nick Cannon. Yeah, they carry him into which, by the way, I have to say, Jason London, his car is a fucking Dodge Charger or Challenger with a snowplow on the front of it, which, number one, you would never have that car in Alaska because you're in snow. So
right.
I love the ridiculousness of that. But they stuff him in the car in the driver's seat, and the locals are pushing it like it's spinning out of control. And they all start screaming. So Zach Galifianakis wakes up, and he's like in a panic trying to turn the wheel. He's like, I got it. And then, like, the car finally stops, and he's, like, almost having a heart attack.
Yeah, because everyone's, like, screaming.
Yeah. And then Pigpen and all of them just start laughing. And when he realizes, he just grabs Pigpen's head and just starts slamming it into the steering wheel with the nice little honk of the wheel. And it was just like, what the fuck?
But
so, yeah.
The first, like, one or two were kind of funny. And then you're like... holy shit.
You're like, oh, he's really going for it.
And he sells it with his anger. Like what you brought up is like so good.
He's so angry. It's not like a joyful anger. It's like, motherfucker.
I think like an honorable mention, real quick, is the scene where Dangle, I forgot what his name is in this movie. Where
Eric.
he is in a AOL chat room.
That was good.
Oh, yes.
And he's like...
the lesbian chat room.
Yeah!
And that's another one they set up beforehand because Keckner, earlier on in the movie with
said, have you ever been to one of these
lesbian chat rooms?
Yeah!
He's like, no. Like, should I? He's like, it's wild.
Yeah.
And Dangle, well, to your point, Dangle's, they frame it because it's him talking to Pigpen. Pigpen is like... in an office.
Pigpen sneaks into Muntz's office to do it.
But Dangle's like in a candlelit room with like rosé or some kind of wine.
Right.
With like this like weird music in the background. And he's writing these like elaborate long poems, and Pigpen just keeps writing awesome. That is a good scene. No, that was...
And then the payoff at the end is Dangle had his pants off the whole time.
Yeah, he's just like...
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good scene.
Yeah, it is awesome. Oh, go ahead.
No, so Nick, the question is, we know it's in your top 10.
Right.
What are you grading it?
Okay, if I were to like try to remove bias from everything.
No. Keep bias. That's the one thing I want to say.
Okay.
You're supposed to give, if it's in your top 10, I expect it to be high.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I gave Matrix Resurrections a B-. Like, we're all about bias here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay then, in my bias and everything, the entertainment value I get out of it, the laughs, the pure enjoyment and everything considered, I give this movie never had to give it a letter grade before, but if I were to give it a letter grade, I would probably give it an A-.
Okay.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about you? Yeah, see, me, I was initially going C+, but honestly, the thing that tore me is, like, as we keep mentioning these scenes, like, I remember how much I enjoyed the scenes. So when I think of the movie as a whole, I'm kind of like, as a whole, it's definitely like a C+, like it is what it is. But with the individual scenes, and especially David Koechner's knocking it out of the park, I'm probably going B- just because a lot of comedies, they really just always boil down to the scenes themselves. And when I think of all the individual scenes we've talked about, it actually holds up in scenes that I will laugh about later on.
I mean, we didn't even like really talk about the scene where like Zach gets stuck in the hot tub.
Gets stuck. Well, I mean, we mentioned it we didn't dive deep.
Yeah, like when David Koechner comes
has
up,
to lube him. Yep.
Yeah, packs the snow in there, and then has the clippers. And Zach is like, "Oh my god, what's he gonna do with that?" And then he just uses it to cut a lime.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all about expansion and contraction.
Yeah, like
so. Yeah, I'm sticking. I'll go B-. What about you, Chambers?
I'll probably I'm torn between like a C and a C plus because I really hated the beginning of the movie. And the end of the movie, I was like, it is what it is, but I really liked the middle of it. So, yeah, I'm torn between, like, C and C+. I might just go, like, overall as a movie, a C, but, like, the middle of the movie I did really like.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, like I said, I think it is a movie that grows on you as you watch it. Mm-hmm. And take it with a grain of salt. If you haven't seen a movie, keep in mind that this is 2001. So like you said, the timing and everything. And honestly, you don't even have to be a big fan. Like if you like snowboarding, it'll help. But you don't have to be a fan of it to enjoy it.
Yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to like snowboarding to really like the movie. But yeah, if you like it more, then it'll help.
Yeah, exactly. And then even the soundtrack alone, if you're a fan, like because I know like emo nights are really popular right now. If you're a fan of like pop punk and whatnot. There's elements in this movie
they had like Sugar Cult's like 5th biggest song like in the movie like randomly. I was like, hey, I know Sugar Cult, but I was like, that's like lower tier song of theirs. Yeah.
The end song for the credits by Handsome Devil. It was like oh
yeah.
That was catchy. I just didn't know it beforehand, but that was a catchy song.
Yeah. Gosh, I think just even the outtakes alone and the way the movie closes is just
the bloopers.
Awesome.
I love them. Yeah. No, but no, Nick. I think you got a good movie here. Like you said, I did enjoy it, and I did like it's not one where like you have to think too much. It's not like The Matrix, which was drenched in political and this and that. It was just a
fourth wall.
Hey, it was just whatever. It was. I went into it with zero expectations, and I think that's the way you got to.
Yeah.
So with that, everyone watching, we want to say thank you all so much. Thank you once again for supporting us. And be sure, comment below, even if you have a thought of a movie. But as of right now, Jim is up for bat, and he will be picking the movie for next time.
You are also fucked.
But I am putting one caveat. It cannot be hentai, and it cannot be porn.
Well, shit.
That's the caveat, Jim.
Oh, man.
Fine, fucking chop off my balls while you're at it.
So, Nick, once again, always great drinking with you. And before we sign off, I do want to ask, how did the beer treat you? Did it pair well with the movie?
Yeah, so, infamously, I think this is just a thing I do now. This is a podcast thing here. So I started off with Powder Day IPA. This beer was great. It was a very smooth IPA that I was very pleasantly surprised. It wasn't very like spunky, how normal IPAs are. It was very smooth. Then after that, I transitioned over to my this is like my favorite local brew. Maybe one of my favorite beers ever. It's from Mud Shark Brewery. It's called Have a Blue Wheat. It is a blueberry vanilla wheat beer. It comes in at 4.5%. It is just so like every sip is like a bite of blueberry pie.
Ooh,
it's delicious. It is so good. And then I finished off as far as like craft beer goes. Cause now I'm back on my Miller Lights. I went with Cali Creamin'. It is a vanilla cream ale from Mother Earth Brewing Company in California. It is vanilla bean, cool and crisp, smooth finish ale with natural flavor added. Comes in at 5%. It also it's very good.
Super smooth, right?
Super smooth. It also comes in a orange creamsicle flavor as well.
Ooh.
Both are amazing and really good. And then the Miller Lite is just Miller Lite. But I think I chose, as far as like my grade for the movie goes, I'm gonna give these the same grade as well. Like everything was perfect
Nice.
for tonight. So
There you go.
Nice. Now, Jim, did you move away from Coors or did you stick with it?
I had 3 Coors Lights, and then I moved on to the Irvin's Cherry Chocolate Porter. So comes in at 6.5% from the Conshohocken Brewing Company, and yeah, it was pretty good. It's not the best cherry chocolate porter I've ever had. It's definitely heavier on the chocolate side, but it was enjoyable for what it was.
I saw it's got
wanted
Wait, Jim, I saw it's got a picture of your boyfriend on there.
You're right. The beer tickles my butthole. But yeah, what do you call it? I want to see how it, because I just did it straight out of the can, so I want to see when I pour it out how that lets the flavors, expand in the effervescence and the enjoyment.
Jim, and you and I have talked. Conchi, none of their beers have ever blown me away.
No, they're not.
They're
like,
always
they're pretty mid overall as a brewery, but like nothing's ever bad from there, but nothing ever is like great. So
no, it's as middle of the road as it gets.
Yeah.
But Budweiser for me is Budweiser. The O'Hara's, I had 2 of these because they go down so smooth. Once again, a great contender against Guinness. But the Black Magic from Empire Brewing Company, like you do get that little bit of a little bit more of a coffee in your stout. I'll be honest, I didn't notice anything like the whiskey barrel blended. I don't know if that's just wordplay. Usually you hear barrel aged. Barrel blended means a little different to me, so I don't think they actually aged it. They must have just mixed it within the barrel. So I didn't get any notes of that. It definitely was way more flavorful than the O'Hara's, so I naturally have to go with it. It's pretty solid. I would recommend it. And it is in a cool ass can. I don't know if they only do it for St. Patty's Day and like this time of year, but like I said, it's pretty damn good. And this is based out of New York, so Nick, I doubt you'll be able to get that, but
keep rubbing it in, dude.
So once again, thank you everyone watching. Thank you, Nick. Have a good night, everyone. Cheers.
And thank you for the support once again.
Yes.